Welcome everyone. Today we'll talk about the environmental forecasting and analysis in today's video. This is going to be a short video. We need to understand what is environment and how does it environment impacts a business policy. So yes, environmental forecasting is very required for the success and probably choosing of the right decision as far as business is concerned. So environmental analysis and strategic management. What are we looking out here? We're talking about the environment. What is environment doing around? Environment is changing, ever changing. How it is changing? Now people might be asking me. Environment is changing because the government regulations changes, the federal laws changes more often than not. Perhaps if not the laws of the government are being changed, perhaps the customer preferences taste changes. Now, people might ask why environmental law changes or governmental law changes. The governmental law changes because it is tweaking the tax system. One of the major reasons for business decision is tweaking the tax system. If you can able to understand what is the tax implication of your businesses, you will be able to take the right decision so as to mitigate such taxes. Now that is what environmental will be going around it. What about customer taste and preferences if we go around it? Now this again reflects to the economic cycle that our society is undergoing. If people have money in their pocket, dispensable income, you are good with your businesses. If they do not have, they will be thinking twice probably and refraining from making bigger purchase. So understanding the relevance of environmental analysis is particularly important. The environmental analysis is all about establishing the firm-centric uh, point of view as how the firm should be reacting as per. So strategic decision involves committing resources today for the benefits of tomorrow, underlining the needs for thorough environmental analysis as the case might be. Executives starts developing corporate strategy by analyzing industry conditions and competitive landscape. This analysis helps us in carving out strategic position to outperform rivals by building competitive advantage. The importance of environmental analysis is emphasized through a detailed examination of relevant variables and the anticipations of the future threats and opportunities. So environment only poses to you threats, only poses to you opportunities. How do you capitalize on the opportunities? How do you mitigate the threats? Is what we are talking about decisions as in strategic management for a business firm. Example, the Reliance Industry Limited. The Reliance Industry Limited strategic planning demonstrate a proactive approach towards the environmental forecasting, which is basically looking at crude oils, the price of the crude oil, the supply of the crude oil, and so on and so forth. By envisioning the future opportunities, Reliance has successfully navigated through the dynamic business landscape, showcasing the power of environmental analysis in strategic decision making per se. Now, allow me to give you certain attributes as to how environmental analysis should be done. So, this is what we are looking into it. We're talking about a verbal and written information. Now, what is this? This is every quarterly. I'm sure any listed business houses will be publishing their performances as in their budget sheet, as in their profit and loss statement. Also, nowadays it's in fashion that the corporate should be telling the corporate statement as what they are deliberating in the futures, how business are going to shape up, look up. Now, what is this? This is basically the corporate dialogue happens because of making the functioning of the organization much more transparent to the general public, particularly to the shareholders. So yes, we are talking about verbal and written information, tapping both into documented and verbal sources to gather up to date information. Then we obviously, yes, we can search and scan. Now, how do you search and scan? Basically, what is happening with similar companies in the same industry if we go going around it? How are they performing? What we are looking into, so identifying and managing the availability of required information through systematic scanning. Next, definitely yes, the evergreen thing of espionage, or should I say spying, although controversial, very controversial, should I say, spying has been used to obtain much needed competitive information. Now, this is all about pricing power. This is all about new product launches that we are talking around here. Forecasting and formal studies, employing forecasting studies and probably scenarios to predict the futures. And that is what the techniques for environmental analysis is all about here. So, environmental forecasting follows a structured process akin to a research project. Now, there are key steps, 4 steps, if I may say so. Identification of the relevant environmental variables, determining the critical variable that impacts the firm, collection of the information, gathering the necessary data on identified variables, selection of the forecasting technique, choosing appropriate forecasting method based on various factors, and last but not the least is monitoring, keeping track of changes in variables or trends for potential reforecasting, as the case might be. This is what we are trying to go around here. So again, I recollect identification of the relevant environmental variables. One, two, collection of information. Three, selection of forecasting technique, and the fourth one is of monitoring. Forecasting can be generated into different segments, basically economic, social, political, and technological. Now, what are we looking at when economic, as in what the economic cycle is going around it? Can we forecast the demand and the supply? And how can we as a business houses match the requirements of demand and supply? So predicting general economic condition and their impact on the businesses, absolutely sure. Social forecast is anticipating changes in the social variable. Now what are we looking at? Social variables, probably there is a large middle income group that goes around it in the society. Are they changing, or probably their lifestyle is changing into a high income group because of the accumulation of wealth, or there is a deterioration in their economics or financial condition? Should be looking into curtailing their expenses. Now this is what social forecasting is all about. It is the lifestyle forecast that we look into it. So anticipating the changes in social variables that could affect the business operation. Then comes the political in forecasting. The political forecasting is what about forcing the development of in the federal governments, who is going to come into power. If it is a democracy, there would be rival political parties who are vying for the seats of power. Every rival parties would be actually giving you an alternative options to what the present government is running as far as policies and procedures are concerned. Now if some party come into power per se, how do you envision your business to work around it? That is what we are looking in political forecast, forecasting political development that can influence the business landscape. Then is the technological forecast. It is all about incremental changes in technology, and believe me or not, technology is landing us with a number of features and products, and then thereby that is what we should be looking out here every now and then. So techniques of environmental forecasting, we have basically two types of techniques, qualitative and quantitative, and of them we are looking at econometric techniques, which is all about models, various model. It can be simple moving average model, it can be exponential moving average model, it can be trend analysis, and there are many complex model coming around it. Talking about trend extrapolation, what we are looking at, as in what has happened in the past, in the previous quarters, in the previous year, in the previous to previous year, can that trend be impacting, or there be a trend reversal, or can the trend continue? You are trying to focus something into the future quarter. So extrapolate historical data to forecast future trend. Then we have scenario development. Develops alternative scenarios to help managers prepare for various future or condition. Last but not the least is judgmental model. It is your gut feeling that goes around it. The managers who manage the show, the management of the business houses, leverage the options of the expert familiar with the relevant factors as the case might be. We talk about the epitome of environmental forecasting. I've already said you about the economic forecasting, social forecasting, political forecasting, and technological forecasting. We have told you about the steps. The steps is how do you go for opportunities and threats that the environmental is presenting in front of you? How do you collect the information thereby? And what options do you select? Choose. That is what we are looking at it. And how does this comes around it? This is when the techniques that we have been talking about it, as in the econometric techniques, the trend analysis. We are talking. We have said about the judgmental models. We have spoken about the strategic analysis and the scenario development as on what is happened. Scenario development, if I may just add on, is what if. What if condition A sustains? What if condition B sustains? So how do you react if it is condition A or condition B or condition C? So that is what if scenario. You plan for every possible scenario thereby. Sources, methods of gathering information is definitely verbal or written. It is you need to search and scan. You need to go on spying. You need to look at the published data per se. So benefits. What are we looking into it? Once the environmental analysis is done, and why should it be done? Because it accrues a lot of benefits to us, enhancing awareness of the environmental organization linkages, helping organization identify present and future threats and opportunities, providing insights into the factors influencing business, facilitating the understanding of the industry transformation, contributing to the risk identification and strategic formulation. And that is what we should be looking forward to. Limitation. If we have advantages, definitely we have few disadvantages that I would like to share with the audience of this particular video. Despite those benefits, environmental forecasting has its own limitation. Primarily, why? Because the forecasting technique might be wrong that we have adopted. The variables which we wanted to study, we have not studied the whole complete gamut of variables. We must have left certain of the variables. So you need to understand this actually impacts your credibility as far as 100% forecasting to be done, which is never possible. You can come to 95% of confidence level and not beyond that. So basic potential errors are selecting variable for the predictive model, which I've already stated, choosing the functional form of linking the predicting variables, and third is estimating the accurate value predictor for the predictor variable thereby. And with this, I come to an end of this video. How do we sum it up? We need to sum it up by saying environmental analysis and forecasting are pivotal in strategic management, offering a roadmap, absolutely roadmap into the future. Uncertainties. While there are limitations, the strategic benefits of accurately analyzing and forecasting environmental variables far outweighs the potential drawback, enabling the organizations to craft visionary strategies that stands the test of the time. Thank you very much for watching this video till the end.